Hi everyone, my name is Patrice Hicks, and today I will be your instructor and I will be talking about questioning strategies that can be used to teach social studies and arts. Let's go to the first slide. So, the purpose of question strategy. The purpose of question strategy is to design higher cognitive questions which you're going to create a differentiation of questions in order for you to meet the demands of your students' needs. And then these questions also be created in a mindset. They could be open-ended question, inquiry, and evaluating questions. Then we're going to develop a sequence of questioning. So when we're doing that, we're going to take in mind when we are planning our lessons, we go take into consideration the type of sequence of questions that we want to put into place for our students. So we have to make sure the questions are challenging so they are meeting the needs of our student demand. For example, you can use skyfulling as a technique because it allows for repetition. So it allows you to give your students opportunity to visit previous information that they have learned in different ways to keep them engaged. Increasing wait time. So when we are asking higher order questions, we want to make sure we give 10 seconds or more so students are able to give us not only a response, but they have confidence and encouragement behind it when they are giving us a response. Then responding to answers. You want to redirecting, probing, and reinforce. You want to keep in mind that when you are asking these questions and how they are responding to it. But when you are waiting for a response, encourage your students in a positive manner. Depths of knowledge. We know there are 4 levels. The first and second level are recall and reproduction. The second level is skills and concept. So at the first level, we are asking students to recall facts. It might not always be accurate, but that's what we are helping them with. And it's basically like a simple procedure. Then at level 2 are the skills and the concept. And at this level, we want to help students the way of approaching, such as predicting, organizing, and estimating. And I provide this slide right here. So, like, as a STEM questions, so you could ask your students at level 1 and 2 the depth of knowledge. So, such as questions at level 1, when did blank happen? Can you recall? How would you describe? And can you identify? Then, questions at level 2, how would you apply what you have learned to develop? How could you organize? How would you summarize? And how are blank alike and different? So we're going to talk about level 3 and level 4. Level 3 is strategic thinking. Students are using planning and evidence to justify their responses. So with that, we are activating higher order thinking processing. And we want to know that students probably would need to access knowledge from several different subject areas to come up with their conclusion or to justify their reasoning. And at level 4, extended time, extended thinking. Students are using multiple sources with information they are analyzing and they are making connection to ideas and concept. And with this, students are learning how to solve problems at this level. Questions that you could ask them at level 3 and 4 is, how is blank related to blank? What conclusions can you draw? Write a thesis drawing conclusion from multiple sources. And what information can you gather to support your ideas about blank? So the next thing we're going to learn about with pre-assessment, formative, and summative, prompting questions that we want to ask our students at this different level. So pre-assessment strategies could be open-end questioning, writing prompts, teacher observation, or entry tickets. But at this level, we are trying to figure out what need to be taught, what need to be addressed, and what learning gaps need to be addressed, and what gaps we want to close. And also with that is letting us know how to target our instruction and how to address any weaknesses or learning gaps. So with this pre-assessment, I want to see if my students knew what troposphere means or what they think it means. I want to know if they could name any geographical features that they might know in the United States, such as mountain, rivers, or deserts. One strategy that you could use for summative and formative, but we're going to talk about formative first. I think an interesting one is peer review and discussions. And with formative, you are trying to keep track of your students' learning, but also give them continuous feedback on how they can make improvement on their learning and also your teaching and your students' learning. So you could also help your students be active engagement. They can explain their thoughts of understanding materials and also helping to recognize, identify the errors or the learning gaps through the feedback that they get from their peers and yourself. But this will also help you with guiding instruction for the next step and deepening the students' learning and improvement that could be made. Then we go to summative. Summative is basically you evaluating what your students have learned at the end of the unit. One of the interesting things I feel like with kids with learning, because sometimes learning could be a lot, but we also want learning to be interesting. So we also want our kids to display their creative side and give them opportunity, to do more research, to prepare for presentation, to get exposure to different and multiple opportunities for peer learning. And we just want them to have access to improving their learning. So I felt like an interesting thing for them to do was to create a poster or presentation. So this will let me know what changes I need to make with communicating to create an effective learning environment. This will have let me know what my kids have learned and what I might need to teach at a later time. 2 digital tools that can support your students in developing their own higher order questioning skills. It will stimulate discussion and promote inquiry and critical thinking. Padlock and Kahoots, I think, are interesting platforms because not only are they interactive, they're fun, they are collaborating with their peers and their teacher, they are getting immediate feedback, but it's constructive. They are learning to open their minds to constructive criticism, to be prepared to accept constructive criticism, but make sure you are giving it to them in a positive way because we want to be supportive of our students. So even with like Kahoots and Padlock, I'm gonna use Padlock first as an example. So with Padlock, kids are using this digital board where are they coming up to this conclusion or their opinions, and they have opportunities to have discussion with their peers, but these conversations are engaging and thoughtful, and they are seeing things from a different point of view from theirs. They are building research. This is helping them to gain independence with inquiry, become little investigators for them to interpret comprehension. They are learning to how to receive not only constructive criticism, but to apply constructive criticism to better themselves and others. And like another platform I mentioned, Kahoots. What student don't want to have fun during Kahoots? The teacher could create quiz. They could create surveys that post open-end questions. They could create discussion and debates because a little debating is always good. These students are trying to connect them to a deeper learning and understanding so they'll know what was right and what was wrong. But not only that, we know learning is supposed to be fun, but we want it to be engaging. And when you use these type of platforms, this not only help them with developing high order questioning skills, they help them making progress in their discussions and improvement in inquiry and critical thinking. And what's not a better way to have fun than to use these fun little digital tools? Thank you for Thank you for letting me be your instructor today. My name is Miss Hicks, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a nice day.